doing?
Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just holding it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Hey, guys, welcome to the locker room. We soon gonna talk about Swerve Strickland and Booker T. Swerve did an interview replying to what Booker T said, but we'll check out more here at Toss Ring Scandal, aka KDH.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey, guys, it's the locker room. Toss Ring Scandal here. We'll talk about is Swerve Strickland right about Booker T. Get the likes as we come into the locker room. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how Swerve Strickland did an interview recently with Vlad TV, and he talked about how, Booker T, saying that there's no problem with the workplace where everyone's treated fairly when it comes to black people. Swerve, however, feels a different way about that. Now, in this interview, he did mention how can Booker say that, and he had Vince McMahon say the N-word in front of him. And I will have to say, Swerve, he definitely has a point by that. But this is a reply to what Booker T said months ago. If you guys remember, on here at the locker room, I spoke about this issue between Swerve and Booker T, where Booker T said he didn't understand where Swerve was coming from because he named a list of people that are treated fairly in the company. But Swerve has since responded to that. But we're going to first play what Booker T had to say months and months ago, and then we'll go see how Swerve responded. And then we'll have some more information of what Booker T's saying to back up Swerve Strickland's claim. So let's check it out here.
In WWE right now, like Bianca Belair, Oba Femi, who else? Who else we got? The New Day. New Day, they've won more tag team champions than anybody. Bianca Belair, she's headlining at WrestleMania. Oba Femi's a young guy out of college that's doing big things in NXT. I'm just trying to figure out what he's talking about. Me, I've been working there for 20 years. I'm just trying to figure out if it's something that happened to him personally. For as far as him not getting the push that he wanted in WWE, he felt like perhaps he should have been a bigger star in WWE. I thought before Swerve left, they were doing something with him and Top Dollar and
they had for sure.
What they call
Hit Row.
Hit Row, yeah. I thought they was trying to do something with that. And the thing is too, sometimes things don't work out. But I don't know, man. I hate that we're still talking about this race thing as far as what WWE is doing with black folks.
Well, so this
and I say that with all sincerity, because I'm black and I've been working for the company for a long time, and I know how I've been treated for the last 20 years. That's the only reason I say that. It's the only reason.
Well, and the other thing is, if you just look, I think about talent is, let's just take NXT for example. I think NXT has a great roster of all talent of all colors, but obviously they have a lot of strong black performers. We think about Jada Parker, Trick Williams,
with all sincerity, because I'm black and I've been working for the company for a long time, and I know how I've been treated for the last 20 years. That's the only reason I say that. It's the only reason.
Well, and the other thing is, if you just look, I think about talent is, let's just take NXT for example. I think NXT has a great roster of all talent of all colors, but obviously they have a lot of strong black performers. We think about Jada Parker, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Oba Femi. That's just name a few. And there's a roster there, and there's an emphasis on wrestlers of all colors, but especially black performers that perhaps wasn't there 15 years ago. Obviously times have changed. Now, what Swerve said, from what I can find, on the this was on the Breakfast Club. So I'm guessing this is what it's referring to because it's the only story I can find that's kind of in relation to this. It said former AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland recently signed a new contract with the company. The deal makes Strickland one of the highest paid wrestlers in the business, something that caught the attention of WWE, who reportedly thought AEW paid above market value for him, which is bad for business. Strickland was asked about these comments during an appearance on the Breakfast Club and believes there's a very specific reason why WWE officials were so rattled by someone like him being given such a big contract. This is what Swerve said. They only complain when a black person gets paid. I will say that. That's what, once again, we shake the foundation and things like that because it's like, oh, snap, wait, it's not what we would pay. And I'm like, why are you calling out me? Why are you asking me? Like, I'm not your concern. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about my pockets and our money. We're good. You have your talent. Like, you made your decision with me 2 years ago. No hard feelings from me, but boom, I keep it moving. I'm going to figure my way out and I'm going to build myself up. That seems to be the quote that I can find.
Yeah, but that sounds like he's talking to someone in specific, right?
No, it sounds like there's a rumor, I guess WWE thought AEW overpaid for him.
No. What I'm saying is it's specific to someone saying that he had been overpaid.
Oh,
that's
right.
What,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So my thing is, it seems like he has, some kind of beef with someone, whoever said that he was overpaid. I don't know who said that. Do you know who said that?
I don't.
Yeah, and I could get Swerve snap back and making a snap back if someone did say something like that. He's getting overpaid, which there again, it's nobody's business. What somebody else is getting paid. First of all, as far as what he was getting paid in WWE, I don't know, but if that's the way he feels, that's his opinion. If he got some kind of personal beef with someone who said, what was said. So I get it. I probably would snap back too.
I'm black. I've been working for the company for a long time, and I know I've been treated fair for the last 20 years.
That's not what happened when Vince said the N-word in front of you. That's not being treated fair. My opinion. And to that statement, it's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying what people are saying. I'm saying what your audience is saying. So it's not just me just talking out of my ass out of nowhere. It's what your audience has been complaining about for the better part of like 2-3 years from not seeing black talent getting single matches on PLEs and stuff like that.
Play that clip for me real quick.
We take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger in the time, we want the gold sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Man, that moment right there, back in WCW, that was the worst moment in my life at that point in time. I definitely want to stick my head in the sand and never come out. I thought.
Let me ask you this question.
Go.
I don't really remember during that time. Did it hit you right away, or was it later on where it turned into the worst day of your life? I don't remember.
Immediately, it was the worst day of my life. I cringed. I
wasn't aware of that.
I cringed when I said it. I mean, I literally like chills went through my body, and I was like, "Oh God, what did I just say?" And the thing is, what's not ironic about it, that's a word that I used to use like on a regular basis, like every day, in my neighborhood where I grew up, that it was common. It's just something that we said. But in the wrestling business, until that day, Hulk, none of my peers had ever heard me use that word, black guys or white guys. No one had ever heard me say that. My wife, literally the first time she saw me, and for the first year or so, she was like, she didn't even think I listened to rap music because I was so straight laced. And when I said that, I was like, good God, man, I froze. I wanted to, like I say, I thought that was the end of my career. And my question is, why didn't you be more ticked off about it? Why didn't you, lobby to go in and get me fired?
I didn't understand at that time what was going on. That's why I just asked you. I said, did this happen immediately? I mean, did this happen later on, a year or 6 months or 2 years later? Because I wasn't aware how intense it was, So honestly, I haven't ever gone into lobby to get anybody fired. much less over that word, because whenever that was, and I don't. What year was that again?
Well,
remember what year it was?
98 maybe.
I think a little, or
97,
97, 96,
yeah,
97.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember it being as sensitive as the politically correct environment now. So if it went down, I wasn't aware of it for years. If it did happen, and I was aware of it, it went in one ear and out the other because I was so used to hearing it. So I didn't know it was that intense back then. So, I wasn't aware to be anybody. Plus, I'm not one of those guys that would go in there and say fire one of the boys for no matter what they did. That's not who I am.
Well, I mean, I say that because, so many people, like you say, right now it's such an inflammatory thing. And I said it pretty much about you. And I do remember, and my brother and I, we talk about it all the time. You may not even remember because, like you say, it like went over your head. It really wasn't much. But to me, at that point in time, literally it was everything. And I remember seeing you in catering the following week. After it happened, and Randy Savage, he was there as well, and Randy goes, "Hey Hulk, what do you think about Booker calling you the N-word?" And you go, "Well, if I'm the N-word, I'm a good N-word." You know what I mean? That's what was said. And the thing is, until this conversation, we've never talked about it ever.
No,
it's never come up or anything like that. In all of these years, we've never said anything about it until this day right here. 4/22/19. If I need, you was labeled as a racist, okay? And the thing is, and I just want to put it out there. I think if you were a racist, that was a moment, that was an opportunity that a racist would have taken advantage of and say, "Man, I'm gonna get this ninja fired. He gonna work for me." You know what I mean? That's what I think a racist would have done. And then as well as me, I've been black for now 54 years, and I've been in a lot of racial situations. And I kind of like know the lay of the land. You could tell a racist by the people that he hang out with, his friends. That's how you tell a racist. Or you could tell a racist by the way a racist kids act. That's how you could tell a racist. You know immediately. How did you feel after your situation? Making a racist comment and then being labeled a racist. How did you feel about that? Because people make and I say that because people make comments all the time. Doesn't make them, it doesn't make them that.
You're saying words are one thing, actions are another.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is people can say a word or make a mistake, and that doesn't mean that's who they are. People that keep bringing it up and keep pushing it forward, those are the people I worry about. But for me, it was really a delayed reaction. That's kind of like why I asked you. I had used the word, and now it's going on almost 13 years ago. What's the date now? 19, almost 20?
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know what year it is anymore. So it was said in 2006. And I was made aware of it probably, when did the darn Gawker trial start? I was made aware of it probably, I don't know time very well, so I'm probably saying about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think longer than that.
Yeah.
6 years, maybe 5 years. So it was set in 2006, and then I was made aware of it about 5 years ago. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember that conversation, but that definitely was me, and I definitely said it. And total idiot, totally out of control, bad situation. There's a million excuses for it, but it was me. I said it, and I tried to be accountable for it. But the thing is, the people that know me, and it's really cool that you would say just because somebody says a word doesn't define them or doesn't mean who they are. Because the people that know me, the first person that called me when the publicity came out was my minister, Michael Beckwith. And he runs the Agape Church there in Culver City. He came to my house and married me and Jennifer, and he's one of my good friends, and he's Afro-American, So first thing that happened was my minister called me. He goes, "Terry, have I heard we've got some problems? I explained to Michael what happened. And he goes, first off, God forgives you. And he says, whenever you have a small problem, tell your big God about your small problems. I said, Michael, I've already talked to him about it. And he goes, don't worry what people think about you. Worry what God thinks about you. And he gave me some really good uplifting advice. And, after that, there was a ton of support from all my friends. And the hardest part was trying to explain to people that didn't know me. And some people only knew me because of that. Oh, my God, we never heard of Hulk Hogan until we heard him say this crazy word and it was on the news. That was the hardest part, was trying to explain to people who didn't know me, who I really was. And it was so hard to – and there's a lot of people now that, I've apologized to on several different levels and several times. And there's still some people that, the jury's still out. Some people are still tentative. And, I'm trying to, show them, like you guys were talking about, by my actions, who I really am. So it's been a really tough time, but a lot of people are very forgiving, and a lot of people that, are understanding, they've made some serious mistakes in their life too. And I think, normal people that have good hearts kind of understand that, if someone does make a mistake, you need to give them a second chance and see who they really are. So it's been a tough time, brother. I won't joke about it at all, but I'm just grateful now that my friends never left me, and the fans never left me, and the people that a few of the people that don't know who I really am, I've had an opportunity to speak to many of them as I can and try to not make an excuse, but be accountable and say, yeah, it was me, I did it, but that's not who I am,
Yeah. I tell you, somebody had asked me, man, what would you do? How do you feel about it? I said, man, if people judge me for what I did, more than 20 years ago, aggravated robbery, if people still judge me, on that, they wouldn't know who I am at all, man. I mean, because that one day did not define who I am. It definitely did not. And I say that as far as as far as your friends and whatnot. I'm good friends with Knobs, Nasty Boy Knobs. Knobs used to talk about you all the time back in the day, man. I'm hanging out with Hogan, man. I'm on the boat this week, what I mean? We all kind of stories, man. I've heard all kind of great stories, and none of them were racist stories or anything like that. As well as Knobs and I, Knobs. I could say this, man. I can honestly say this. Knobs for years, Brian Knobs. He's the only white guy that I've ever given a pass to call me the N-word. I swear. No, I'm serious.
It's almost like every time I was around him, he was calling. Good God.
What's crazy though, what's crazy is I was in Tokyo, Japan, Knobs and I, and we was in this bar. It was called the Rolling Stone. And Knobs and I, man, we stayed out till like 4 o'clock in the morning, man. We was just hammering them back, man. We had so much fun. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I needed anybody to have my back, it would have been Knobs.
Oh, yeah.
that was the guy. Yeah. That was the guy who would have had my back. No matter what went down, we went down together. I know that. I was just with him just this past weekend. So in saying that, Knobs, just this past weekend,
New Jack City knocked me out 3 times because
I think Hogan would have to abandon you as a friend if that.
Oh, he said it.
All right, that was Swerve Strickland responding to Booker T. Also, we heard Booker T on his podcast. He talked to Hulk Hogan over that situation years ago. And he also said, to back up what Swerve was saying, Brian Knobs of the Nasty Boys, the guy you saw in the very, very last clip, he is a known man to say the N-word, and he's friends with Hulk Hogan. And Booker T said that Brian Knobs is the only man that's not of color that gets a pass to call him the N-word. So my point is, Swerve Strickland was right. Booker T, well-decorated wrestler, give your props, Hall of Famer, but you are a coon, Booker T, and you'll go along to get along. I like Booker T for what he's done in the industry, but when it comes to WWE today, he does whatever he can to go along to get along, and it does not work well for me, my brother, in the words of Hulk Hogan. But that's not good, though. I think Swerve Strickland is right about Booker T. But that's all I have regarding Swerve Strickland right about Booker T. You guys let me know if he was right or wrong of what he said about Booker T to respond to him. You guys let me know. Also, if there's anything else you want to add that I did not cover that you may know about this whole situation. Check out the content here at Toxic Ring Scandal, guys. Until then, you already know what it is. It's OUT.